Aren't you the famous Lois Lane?
Oh! Me? Famous? Well, hardly. I mean, this is Clark Kent.
The amazing Dana Delany. Today on Pop Goes the Culture. Hi, I'm David Levin, and welcome to another harmonious episode of Pop Goes the Culture. Today, part 2 of my talk with Dana Delany. Today, we'll talk about playing the animated Lois Lane, what it was like shooting at a cursed Indian burial ground, floods on the set, guest stars and visitors to China Beach, including Vince Vaughn and Kevin Costner. And guess who originally wore Dana's China Beach costume?
You know, I was actually at a party, and Vince Vaughn came up to me and said that we had met before, and I said, we have? I would remember. He said, yeah, one of my first jobs was on China Beach. I was a soldier. And he said, and you were so nice to me, and I'll never forget it. I said, wow, I'm glad I was nice to you.
See, for God, they think that's nice. Being nice.
But we had Vince Vaughn was a soldier, and Stephen Baldwin was a soldier, and Matthew Lillard came by. I mean, wow. All these people that went on.
That's pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. Anybody come for set visits? Sometimes, like, people would come just to not necessarily to be a guest star on the show, but it's just they come for a visit.
The one that I remember that I was like swooning over was when Kevin Costner came by. We were on the Warner Brothers lot, and he came by to visit, and that was kind of cool.
Get to talk to him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always, back then, I always got this thing from men like. It was either older men who were my father's age, who, you know, remember the war and, you know, they have romantic ideas about that. Or I'd get from, like, I remember Kevin Costner saying, my wife really likes the show. My wife really likes you, which is good.
Not a bad thing. I understand the last several episodes, and especially the final episodes, were very intense and very moving. You want to talk about that? Sort of walk me through it. I know I have John's version of the story. You know, just tell me that story in your own words and how that came about.
Well, I think we did something really unusual for television because we did these flash forwards. At the time, it was unusual. I think we went 20 years in advance. And it's funny because I am that age now that we did, or I'm older than that now, and they had me with circles under my eyes and gray hair and all this stuff, and I don't look like that. But it was a trip to be able to do that, you know, to guess where the character would be in 20 years. And the last couple episodes we did a reunion show where all the characters get together and have a reunion, and it was fantastic. It was so moving for all of us to do that. And I remember Marg, it's funny because she's not in it that much because she had just had her baby. So, you know, having babies changed things somewhat too. And we had a couple of babies on the show. Yeah. I actually delivered Marg's baby on the show. In a manner of speaking. Well, she was very pregnant, and we had this scene where I'm delivering her baby, and it was I'm there between her legs, you know, trying to pull this. We had a live baby. I mean, you know, very carefully done, but and she really is pregnant, and I'm so concerned that she's going to be pushing and something's going to happen, you know, and there I am going to be like, help. It didn't happen, but man, she was a trooper to do that. She really was.
How long after that scene did she actually deliver?
I think only a couple weeks. I could be wrong, but she was pretty close. Yeah.
So when she got pregnant, did they write that into the?
They wrote it into the because that was a surprise, and they wrote that into the story. And I think Marg did some of her best work when she was pregnant because, you know, you get all those hormones racing around, and I always say this, that there was a scene we shot, you know, where the fall of Saigon, and the helicopters taking off the roof, which I've just learned in the paper that it was not the American embassy that everybody thinks it was. It was actually just a building 2 buildings down that happened to have a place where you could land a helicopter on it. It was just in the paper. But anyway, we shot the scene where Marg has to she's staying behind and she's putting her child on the helicopter back to the States. And just thinking about it, she did such a great job, and I think because she was, post-baby birth, she herself was feeling like, why aren't I home with my child, and here I am working, that it was very, very moving.
Wow, that's awesome.
But the last episode was great because we got to go to Washington, D.C. and actually shoot at the wall. And, it's hard not to look at the wall and be moved. And I think we did kind of guerrilla shooting there. I don't think we had a permit because I remember we had to get it before anybody showed up, and the sun was rising, and the Washington Monument was there, and the light was just so beautiful, and it was fun. It was a good way to go out.
Last episode, moving for you guys?
Yeah. We had Dirk Halstead, who was a White House photographer, who also took a lot of pictures in Vietnam in that era, did sort of final episode shoot, and we all were there together. I have it on my wall of all of us in our costumes, in our 40s, all together like at the reunion, and it was great.
What sort of memorabilia did you keep from China Beach?
I'm not much of a keeper person. I wish I had more now, actually. I don't have very much. I have dog tags.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, I have dog tags with the sticky blood on them.
The Purple Heart.
I have my Purple Heart.
Where do you keep the Purple Heart?
It's in my jewelry box.
We won't put that on the air just in case. We don't want people going into your jewelry box.
Yeah. I don't think I have much else, though. I never got a uniform or anything. I did wear Goldie Hawn's uniform, though. That was the one I wore.
Wait a second. Start from the beginning.
When I was fitted for the pilot, there were no pants that would fit me because it's very hard to look good in Army fatigues. I mean, I feel bad for the women in the Army. And there was this one pair that was from Private Benjamin that Goldie Hawn must have had made for her or fitted for her. It had her name in them, and they fit me perfectly. So it was like my number one pair of fatigues, and so I said, we have to get these copied. These are the ones that work. And I'm friends with Goldie, so it was great to be able to tell her, that I was wearing her pants, and I was honored to be able to fit in them.
What'd she say?
She said, wear them well.
Private Benjamin pants.
Yes.
Oh, that's so great. A lot of people, a lot of actors and actresses sort of moonlight doing cartoon voices, and a lot of people out there don't sit and read the final credits. So talk to me about how you got involved in cartoon voices.
The first cartoon I did was actually a feature, animated feature. It was called Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And I played Andrea Beaumont, who was his girlfriend, and then she turns out to be evil. So that was fun. And it was the same people who did Superman for Warner Brothers, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. So then they asked if I would audition to be Lois Lane. And I was thrilled because, even if I didn't get the job, to be able to put my voice down on the audition and say, Dana Delany as Lois Lane, I was thrilled to be able to say that. Because when I was a kid, I grew up reading those comic books. And every Sunday after church, I'd take my quarter and go get my comic book. For a while, Lois Lane had her own comic book.
A long time.
And I watched the TV show religiously. I watched all of them. I saw the two different Loises, and Phyllis Coates, Noelle Neal. And then I got to meet Noelle Neal recently.
Isn't she great?
Oh my God, she's fantastic. She's still Lois. She's still spry and spunky, and so it was such a thrill to meet her. And then I found out last week, which was a shock to me, that I have played Lois longer than anyone. I have been playing Lois since I think 1995, 11 years I've been doing it. 94, 11 years.
So you're doing it on JLA now?
So now I'm on Justice League, which is fun, and I just have a blast because you get to work with these great actors, and
Tell me some of the other people. Name some names and who they play.
Well, Mark Hamill is the Joker on the Batman stuff. Tim Daly was my Superman, and now it's George Newbern who's taken that over. Clancy Brown is Lex Luthor. Jerry O'Connell just did, what was the character? Oh God, but he was wonderful. He was Flash, I think, yeah.
Wasn't Flash being played by the guy from Smallville?
Oh, that's right, Michael's
Michael
Flash.
Rosula.
He was another character, I can't remember which one he is. He's just
So many heroes
He was
now,
great, I know. Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. was Alfred. I mean, how great is that? Malcolm McDowell was on the show. Margaret Cho did it. I mean, you just never know who's going to be in the room. Oh, I remember Eric Roberts was there the last time I was there.
How do they shoot it? Do they do all? How do they do the voiceovers? Are you all there together, or are you just doing your own?
Yeah,
stuff?
whoever can be there. We're all together, so it's like radio. So you're doing a radio play, basically. And you just crack up. It's so much fun. Because, some of them put on the voice. Me, I have one voice. That's it.
You definitely have an edge when you're doing Lois. There's definitely a Lois-y quality about what
I just
you do.
imagined, when I did the audition, I imagined Rosalind Russell. Because that's sort of how they wrote her. I saw her, like, in His Girl Friday, that kind of snappy patter kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly right. See, that's how they should do the Superman movie.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Yeah.
Who should direct the Superman movie?
Who?
The guy who did Sky Captain.
Oh,
Did you see
I
Sky
never
Captain?
saw that.
It's like the old Superman cartoons from the Fleischer cartoons.
Yeah,
Rent that movie.
I will.
Get it on DVD.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, now we got to shut up. That's it for today. Next time, Dana Delany talks about what it was like to play the love interest of Bruce Willis on Moonlighting and Tom Selleck on Magnum P.I. Also, what it's like kissing on screen. All that plus she'll talk about guesting on Cheers and Larry Sanders. We'll see you then. Ouch! Ooh! Ow! Ow! Ow!